Good evening, everyone. This is Nicole Ali. I'm back with another video. This time it's coming from CBS News, and if you can tell from the title, they're talking about older people being able to grow new brain cells. So, what was thought of course, years ago, decades ago, even probably months ago, about science, about certain topics involving science and technology, they're changing. Things are changing. Things are evolving. There are new ideas, and scientists are becoming, and not just becoming, but are very tenacious when it comes to finding out the truth and uncovering life's mysteries. So one phenomenon that has been out there a long time is, can humans grow new brain cells? Is this something that is possible? If it is possible, how does it occur? Can that response to injury or loss of brain cells due to infection or something, can that be used to treat other people with brain diseases such as Alzheimer's, brain tumors, things like that? So this is just a picture, just a cartoon image of the brain person. You can see their brain lit up. So now here we go with the article. It says, contrary to popular thought, older adults' brains can churn out just as many new cells as younger brains do. And this has been suggested by a new study that recently came out. Using autopsied brain tissue, researchers found that healthy older adults had the same capacity to create new cells in the brain's hippocampus region as young adults did. The hippocampus is involved in regulating memory and emotions, and it typically shrinks with people with Alzheimer's disease, according to the Alzheimer's Association. Excuse me. And people who have advanced stages of the disease, they have a smaller, their brain volume is much smaller than someone who doesn't have the disease. The new findings give a snapshot of the healthy aging brain, and it's a positive one, the researchers said. In general, old and young brains were capable of making the same number of new neurons from more primitive progenitor cells in the hippocampus. It's good news that these cells are there in older adults' brains, said lead researcher Dr. Mara Boldrini, an associate professor at Columbia University in New York City. That's not to say that the brain of a healthy 79-year-old looks exactly like the brain of a healthy 29-year-old. For example, the investigators found that older adults' brains had less angiogenesis, or new blood vessel growth. Angiogenesis is critical for the development of vessels for your eyes. And they're saying here, of course, angiogenesis is important for the brain development too. So it's not clear whether the new brain cells would have the same connections or function the same as younger adult brain cells do, noted Dr. Ezriel Cornell. He's an assistant clinical professor of neurosurgery at Weill Cornell Medical College in New York City. But Cornell, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, who was not involved in the study, said the findings offer a hopeful message. Even as we age, he said, we still have the capability of producing new neurons. More research is needed to understand what factors can help stimulate greater neuron production or better connectivity in older brains, Cornell said. Lab research has found that in aging rodents and non-human primates, so that would be like your monkey or something like that, chimpanzee, the hippocampus loses its ability to churn out new cells. But studies of the human brain have come to conflicting conclusions. That's partly because researchers weren't always able to account for any brain diseases people might have had before death, Boldrini explained. Her team examined autopsied brain tissue from 28 people between the ages of 14 and 79 who died suddenly but had previously been healthy. None had been diagnosed with dementia or any neurological or psychiatric disorder. Overall, the study found older and younger brains had similar numbers of intermediate progenitor cells and immature neurons, signaling that old people had a similar capacity for generating new cells as young people. There were differences, however. Well, we have to expect differences because you have an old brain that's been working for so many decades versus a young brain. It says, besides having less angiogenesis, meaning the development of new blood vessels, the older brains also had a smaller pool of progenitor cells in one area of the hippocampus. It would be interesting, Cornell said, to see how those healthy older brains compare with those older adults who did suffer from dementia. Boldrini agreed and said that's a next step. Other research, she noted, has found a decreased number of neurons in the hippocampus of people who died with Alzheimer's. But it's not clear what causes that. Does the brain produce fewer neurons, or did the neurons die? Boldrini said. By comparing healthy older brains and dementia-affected brains, she said, researchers could gain a better understanding of why some people stay sharp well into old age while others decline. That might lead to new treatments for dementia, Boldrini said, if research can uncover some of the molecular mechanisms that support neuron production and survival in older brains. Plus, she added, it's important to figure out whether older adults who maintain a youthful-looking hippocampus did something right over their lifetime, whether that's diet, regular exercise, or meditation. And then they have all these other, everything in red is a link to another article, if you would like to peruse that on your own time. A number of studies have linked lifestyle factors to the risk of Alzheimer's and other types of dementia, according to the Alzheimer's Association. So they have here 3 lifestyle changes that may help guard against dementia. I know for certain that even if it may not be on that list, one of them is making sure that you have, you do not have a strict routine. For instance, your route that you take to work. If you take public transportation, that's difficult to change your route. But any other time when you're going through the grocery store, I know myself, I like to start on the produce section. It's usually on the right side of the grocery store. So I enter the door, the right side on the right door, and I peruse through the produce and the fruits and vegetables and all that. And then I make my way over to the frozen foods, and then I go over to like paper products and throughout the rest of the store. But I've been trying to avoid doing that by getting the basket, which just happens to be on the produce section, and walking through the store, or walking past the store to the other door. Okay, I'm getting texts. Oh, wait. Okay, I'm getting text. Sorry about that. Walking past the door to the other side, the other door on the left side, walking in on the meat section, in the bakery section. Even though I'm not going to buy anything in bakery, it just helps to reprogram the way your brain is already programmed. So they say that they can suggest that same habits that keep the heart healthy, keep the brain healthy too. Not smoking, maintaining a normal weight and blood pressure, eating a healthy diet, exercising regularly, staying socially engaged and intellectually stimulated, taking a class, or learning new skills might also help. Other research suggests that exercise can stimulate neuron production in the hippocampus, Boldrini said. And the study was published online April 5th, 2018 in the journal called Cell Stem Cell. So they probably do a lot of work with stem cells. And this is the end of the article. Okay, I'm trying to go up some. I'm going to go back up to the top of the article. Yeah, so this ends the article. I hope you all enjoyed it. Maybe it was something new, just something to think about. There are a lot of genes and other related enzymes and proteins being studied in the brain for the purposes of understanding how dementia occurs and how it advances to become Alzheimer's disease. I personally wanted to do this article and several other articles that I've read because I have a personal connection to this disease, and I'll leave it at that. I enjoyed doing this article. I hope that it brings you new knowledge and you're able to maybe learn something new about the brain. Maybe it leads you into other directions. So thank you for listening, and I hope you have a good evening.